The terrible thing that happened to Razu is that like Birdie became a demigod and just spent the next like 60 years of her life pestering the shit out of her.
Yeah.
I hear Razu serves a real crap deity. All right, so the next question is:
According to the the gang here in this campaign, yeah.
what do we do with this dam?
Do we have permission to blow it up?
I don't think he gave us permission to blow it up.
I mean, he's going to have it dismantled. So the way it plays out is that the people he were conspiring with were predominantly northern lords in his father's territory. A lot of old money. The people who profit from having this lake and these irrigation channels open that this dam provides are all southern lords that he was either going to depose or replace or simply ignore. Like, this dam does not factor into Drala's plans at all.
Okay.
So he and his men are going to have it dismantled, but I mean, you guys have to pass this way on the way back home to Silverbow.
Ow.
Who feels like taking out some frustrations?
No. If I don't feel that is the proper. If he says he's gonna take it down, then I'm gonna
Firebolt.
that.
Well, we just keep the dynamite then.
Yeah, the dynamite is insurance, I guess.
Well, I forgot about the dynamite. Jeannie will say, and then she'll just start digging through the pack.
Yeah, it's still in there.
She's gonna.
I'd really rather you not do that because it just kind of.
What did Dad say when we walked
I'll
by?
stop and go, and I'll look at Ekon. You can still control water, right?
Yeah, today.
Okay. And she's going to skip over to the.
Harley Quinn.
Well, listen, we've got 6 sticks of dynamite. We can test one.
I don't think we should do that here, where we're gonna freak out a bunch of people.
Too late.
No!
Jeannie!
Do not, please.
No, Genie, don't come back. That's exactly how Victor says it. That's exactly how Victor says it.
Because we just made our first tentative alliance in these lands. I think we should just throw an explosive at it immediately.
You think we should throw?
No. Also,
Hey, Jeannie.
you could block the way back with all the water. We could be trapped here.
Genie, I noticed your fingers are a little naked. Where's the ring?
We've already told you what happened in the ring.
Victor was very upset by that.
So, traveling back, remember you had to pass through a couple of the Sculpture Lord's villages on the way to his own village, on the way to his hall. And coming back to the south, news is traveling ahead of you. The people have heard that the Sculpture Lord is dead. Doesn't seem like a lot of people have yet figured out that it was you specifically that did it, unless you pointed out to them.
No. Oh, one quick question, and I would ask: whatever happened to that lady who got put over the dog kennels that we met on the way up?
Oh, she died the night before the wedding. She died of mysterious circumstances, and none of the Veritas people ever asked about her or looked into it.
Okay, I was just wondering. Yeah, okay. I have a general idea. It's like, oh, she died on her. Okay, yeah,
Correct.
Yeah, she killed her in her sleep. Gotcha.
100% tracks.
After leaving the second village, so you're a day or two out from coming up upon the dam, you see a Vistani ox cart parked along the side of the path, painted along the side in great gaudy lettering. Two shuttered windows come to a close, and painted upon them are an enormous fat woman with a monstrous mouth. And in one hand, she's lowering into her mouth an entire oversized bunch of grapes. And in the other hand, she's holding this terrified-looking black cat. Around, it's painted in Darkanese. Lady Mirella, the Bottomless Belly.
Hey, Jeannie, you want some grapes? I feel like some grapes.
I feel like we should at least. What's her name was waiting for a Vistani cart to hitch a ride on.
Yeah.
Maybe we should point this one in her direction to get her out of our house.
I like the Bastati. I'm gonna go say hi.
Well, as you guys are having this discussion about what to do, you hear a call from the direction of a cart, and you notice a man had been sitting on the ground with his back against one of the ox cart wheels. Hello there! Are you
Hello.
Veritas?
We are maybe. I don't know. Who are we today?
And
Depends on who's asking.
gets to his feet. You see him. He scrambles around to the other side of the cart. And when he comes back around to your side, he's walking arm in arm with a Vistani woman. They both look like they're middle-aged. And they begin approaching you.
Victor
We'll
will
let them
walk.
approach. Oh, I'll keep stride with Victor.
The man is looking very, very pleased. Very happy. He's very tall. He towers over this lady that he's approaching you with. And they step up. She takes a few steps out in front of him. Her arm snakes out of his. She clasps her hands together in front of her. I was shown in my dreams that my son would take the high seat of Randus' lands, and that it would be men and women of House Veritas that put him there.
Wait, are you? Victor will glance over at Evie, the mother.
And looking at her, you see that she has the same tight black curls that Drala had upon his own head.
Oh.
I'm so happy we could help.
Evie can't quite bring herself to say anything because now she just can't help but imagine this woman having sex with Lord Randus.
Oh, but you are imagining it. It's
I-
all you're thinking about. Make a horror check, asshole.
Okay.
that Austin Powers joke.
Okay, was that a real horror check, or are you joking?
Make 6 horror checks.
The sheer mechanics of that are mind-boggling.
Because I would have believed you. I would have believed that was a real horror check.
No, it's fine.
Fat shaming's not cool, guys.
No, it's there's other things about this culture lord that are horrifying.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
So Victor says, happy we could help.
So she is approaching you. Who's going to meet her? Like, who's going to step out to the front of the family? Or who's going to meet her first on the
Victor.
road?
Victor and Edmont. Yeah, Victor and Edmont are walking out.
And she reaches out. She clasps Victor's left arm and Edmont's right. Very tightly. She says,
Take it.
if you ever have need, to walk the mists. She looks back at the cart. Explain that you are friends of my mother.
And that was the lady on the side of the cart.
Yeah, this grotesquely fat woman eating grapes and a cat. Lady Morella, the bottomless belly.
Lady Morella, the bottomless belly. So we need to make a note of that.
Mm-hmm.
Victor will smile and say, "You're not Lady Marilla."
No. This woman's name is Majari. Lana Morella is her mother.
Victor will nod and smile and thank her, and also explain that back in our village we have a Vistani who's been waiting for a cart and wonders if she's going to be passing by anytime soon. And Victor will invite her to the village, actually.
She looks at the man. And he steps forward, somewhat apologetically. Says, we've traveled far enough from our caravan. We should meet back up with them before the season is out. But I brought a gift. Next to him, or rather next to the ox cart, he rolls forth a small cask, fairly heavy. It would be difficult to carry by hand. I mean, you guys don't have much choice. You probably have to strap it on Orson's back. A good Barovian vintage. As thanks for your service.
Surely you jest. And Victor will eye the cask and then grin at Genie.
So, when you say small cask, do you mean like one of the like a small cask, or do you mean like a small, like how big is this?
Something like the
cask?
size of maybe the size of a yoga ball.
Oh, okay, into the bag of holding.
Genie, but your suggestion earlier, I figured I could start with that.
What was the suggestion earlier?
That I become an alcoholic.
Oh,
Like, what's his face?
and I'll just shake my head.
There will be time to become an alcoholic once we're back in the safety of our own home.
So you take this cask, and it's stamped on the side, the iconography of a vineyard, but you don't recognize the language that it's in.
I think the player knows which vineyard you're talking about, though.
Do you?
Yeah, I played Curse of Strahd.
And the Vistani waste no more words on you than that. Once your gifts are received, they start walking back towards.
Wish them safe
ox cart.
journey.
Yep.
And
Safe
you as
travel.
well.
And if you're in our area, please do come by to trade.
These don't look like traders. They look like entertainers.
Well, same thing.
I mean,
Our village could always use a show. We're not clowns enough.
I was going to say, there's already a lot of clowns in your village.
Oof. Brick Road.
What? All right, so
Got to be mean.
the next day. Yeah, I had this whole like intrigue thing about how Adrala's mother was supposedly the Squelcher Lord's third wife, but she was like a redhead, and the son didn't have red hair. And no, we're gonna kill him before the wedding, so none of that's gonna come up. We're not even gonna get to do the feast scene.
We've had enough feast scenes in this campaign.
Do you guys blow the dam on your way out?
No.
Genie?
No, it's scheduled for proper deconstruction.
You're just gonna trust that Drala's gonna have it decommissioned, that the water will flow.
Did we get a timeline from them?
Like the thing is like this dam, like Genie is going to insist that we this is something that Genie would have volunteered to do. Is like, we can take care of the dam on our way out. The reason she was doing this for two reasons. One, look at this mess that they made. Look at this. This is not a proper dam. There's no DOSHA compliance here.
It's a beautiful map, though, I must say.
And two, if they're not careful, that's a lot of water rushing. So we should, I'd rather that,
You'd rather blow it apart with dynamite.
I know, in a controlled manner. That's exactly what I was going to do. No.
So Stilshin wants to know if you're going to blow the dam up with dynamite or not.
I mean,
he's still traveling with you at this point. He's the only one who's traveling back to your village. And you're starting to wonder if he only wants to come along to see this dam explode.
He absolutely only wants to see this dam explode. This man has been waiting for something to explode for how many years now, Stilshin?
Plus, there's a very real chance that if we don't do this, it doesn't get done. And then we got to make another trip back up here.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that Genie would have said, hey, we'll take care of the dam on the way out, since we have a deconstruction engineer with us.
So before you had left, Drala had given you his assurances that he was going to deconstruct the dam, but you definitely got the impression that if you blew it up on the way out, the only people that you might be hurting are people in a region of his... people who aren't his allies, who weren't going to be on his side of the coup anyway.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess we want to hang out for a couple days and see if they start to do it.
No, just blow it up. I don't want to make another trip and kill another court.
Do Edmont and Ekon have any Opinions
There are
on...
guards. There are guards here, right? Can we ask them? Has there been any order for this dam to be taken down?
Well, you guys left the Lord Randus's village pretty quickly, like the day or two after, so there wouldn't have been time for anybody to come down yet.
Would there have been?
Go ahead.
Would there? So you're saying that we might have some space to do a little bit of creative sabotage to at least increase the flow of water to our village?
I'm saying that your choice right now is to blow the dam yourself using whatever method you guys find most hilarious, or to trust that Drala is going to do it and leave without doing it yourselves.
Victor votes blow it.
Right. Genie votes.
Ekon doesn't have any opinion whatsoever. He will help you if you want to blow up the dam, but he doesn't really.
I would rather put our trust
Seems to
put
get
trust in our new ally. That's my vote.
Evie, you're the deciding vote.
No, it's a tie because she's going to vote against it.
Orson, how does Orson vote?
Orson's an NPC. There's 5 of you. It can't be a tie.
I mean,
Ekon, Mr. Abstain, you have to. Okay, you
Because
can't
I
vote
must-
present here, Ekon, because
Air decides. It's up to Air.
Listen, and I'll grab Victor by the shoulder. Victor and I are in agreement. How often does that happen? Foster this sense of camaraderie.
It's a true miracle. Don't
I
let it
feel
pass you
like-
by.
I feel like if Victor and Genie agree on something, it might mean it's not a good idea.
Let's do it.
Aha!
Now hold on, I'm in charge, and I'm saying
Genie, get the dynamite.
You're only in charge when, like,
so. Am I just not the Duchess? Evie has to start. She's going through an identity crisis. Maybe I wasn't Ruby this whole time, and she can't decide if that's a relief or not.
I mean, Ruby explicitly told you guys not to shoot a guy, and then Genie totally shot a guy.
I don't remember that happening.
So what you're saying is the most Ruby thing to do is blow the dam.
Now I think the most Ruby thing I could do is me to tell you not to blow the dam, and then you blow the dam.
Exactly. Genie, get the dynamite.
So how are you guys doing it? You got dynamite,
Airplay.
fireball spells.
well,
Now wait. Now before you do that, if we blow the dam, I feel like all these guards are going to come try to kill us.
Yeah, we're going to tell them that we're doing it on their lord's orders.
They're not going to listen to us. We're not the Lord.
Yeah,
They're
we're the
not
ones
the-
with the fireball spells.
like
They're
I
not
said,
just really
what I'm saying is I would have before we left, I would have talked to Drawl and be like, on our way out, we'll take care of the dam, and then ask for like a piece of paper saying, yeah, they're going to take care of the dam.
Well, you wouldn't have a piece of paper or a missive from Drala, but well, for the sake of expediency, we'll say that the guardsmen won't stand in your way.
Okay.
Victor will politely inform the guardsmen that we are going to be taking down the dam.
Okay.
All right, so I've got a control water that lasts for 10 minutes and that can affect a 100-foot cube. So if you blow a 100-foot hole in the dam, I can hold it back for 10 minutes to slow it down a bit.
Genie, you're the engineer of the group.
Uh-huh.
No matter how much magic you use, you're pretty sure there's not going to be a very controlled way to take this dam apart.
Right. It's
You
just
can you can expend all of the resources you have, but this is an enormous amount of water that's going to flow downhill very, very quickly. The good
Right.
news is there's not a lot of civilization on the other side of the mists. It's going to tumble down and make this tremendously beautiful waterfall. There's not like villages or anything or homesteads on your side of the mist that it's going to destroy, but
Do I think it's going to damage our village at all?
no, you guys are way too far away. In fact, the part of the stream that cuts through your village is just a very small trickle of a tributary of the river that would be fed by the falls.
All right. You know what? This is your dynamite. I'm going to look at the guy. This is your dynamite. Just one bundle, and I'll ask your opinion. One bundle or spread it out? It's like one bundle for maximum explosion.
I'll be honest, I was just going to light it and chuck it, and he points over to a bush. Says I was going to throw it from there. And then
That's a little, and I'll tell him, you would have died. And I'll walk over and put it in the middle of the, here, and I'll bundle it up.
Do you want me
And-
to telekinetically push it out somewhat distance?
No.
Okay.
Everybody get. This might take a couple of shots. Everybody get out of the gully. Is the gully correct term? Anyway, get out of the path of the water.
Gully seems appropriate, yeah.
You have
And
a stone
then-
in the
And
top
I'm just
left.
going to start shooting fire bolts at it until I hit the fuse.
So
Oh
the
my
dam
God.
breaking is spectacular. I mean, just it's a once in a lifetime spectacle as the dynamite explodes in a violent blast of smoke and splinters of wood and shooting up this shower of water back into the lake. And for a few moments, nothing happens. Then you start hearing creaking. And then the creaking gets very loud. Then you hear a sound like a giant spine snapping in half. And before you know it, the lake explodes outward, throwing a shower of logs in all directions. And once the center of it comes apart, the strain, the rest of the construction can't hold it back. I mean, you've all played the Outer Wilds DLC, I'm sure.
No.
Nope.
No.
No, not yet.
No,
Really? Nobody?
just you.
I got to the point where you had to like, I don't know. I got to the point that I probably should have been taking notes, and didn't get past that because I wasn't taking notes.
Well, okay.
We all seen that scene of the Ents taking out that damn it Isengard, right?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Fine, but I like
Listen
the
here,
Outer
nerd.
Wilds.
Nobody's played your stupid nerd game.
Wow.
So
one of-
Evie
The
says,
game's great. I just got to the point that
One
it
of
was
the
beyond
best
what I was
video games ever
dealing
made.
with.
Stupid
Yeah.
nerd game. All right.
so Evie says, I know I said not to do this, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you should listen to me more often. I'm right more than you think.
And the filth of Randis was washed away.
Where did that voice come
Who said
from?
that?
Stilshin seems very, very pleased at the spectacle.
Victor.
Now, was
Stilshin,
Stilshin the
no.
Vinter?
What?
Was Stilshin the Vinter? One of these guys was a Vinter.
No, that was not Stilshin. That was
okay.
Clarence.
Victor will pat Stilshin on the back and tell him next time, trust the Vistani.
And then you follow the
So-
river down into the mists.
So is there
Wait,
actually a
actually,
voice?
Yeah, we have to wait for it to actually rain now.
You camp for a couple days and wait for the next bout of rain. Coming out into your side of the mists, where you had climbed up this steep hillside. Now you have the spectacular falls, and looking at it from the top, it's forming into a lake at the bottom, and you can see the watershed flowing out in all directions. Takes probably the better part of a day to safely climb down the hillside, and the waterfall looks no less spectacular from the bottom. In fact, around evening time, after the sun descends, looking up, you can't even tell that the water is flowing from anywhere. It just looks like the mist itself is producing all of it. And then you have an uneventful journey back to your village.
I swear to God, if there's more people here that insist they were here the entire time, I'm going to lose my mind.
How many more people are here that they insist have been here the entire time? Yeah, and how long have we actually been gone for?
A couple of weeks.
47 years.
So we think it's been a couple weeks. What does the village think?
So this is the state of the village as the water flows again. As you guys have repaired most of the buildings, you've got this nice palisade wall. This is Saul's nice map. I see
Yep.
that he's credited himself down here. Although it still bothers me that he doesn't spell solitaire correctly. I don't know what's up with that.
Solitayre.
Maybe everyone else. Maybe everyone else is spelling it wrong.
Solitayre.
Solitaire.
Yeah, it's just spoken with a very powerful southern drawl.
So the first thing to address upon returning to the village is you're a couple days out from Edmont's special time of the month. Because you've been on the road a little over a week there, a little over a week back. You spent a few days in the village, a few more days waiting for it to rain on either side of the mists.
I feel like this was a missed opportunity. We should have stayed there a little bit longer.
Just let him run amok in Lord Randus's village.
No.
Why did we not make that suggestion for how to kill Rand? Just send Edmund in there when it's his time of the month.
So I have an idea for an Edmund kill switch, but there's no way I'm going to be able to have it prepared in time.
An Edmont kill switch. I don't like the sound of that.
No. There's a particular kind of poison that does not do damage, but it knocks the target unconscious.
Are werewolves immune to poison?
As far as I know.
It's a good question.
Only one way to find out, I guess.
They're immune to a lot of things. Anyway, if we're doing that real quick, then remember I am no longer allowed to stand guard over Edmont while he's in Pomeranian form.
Is that what we're calling it? Pomeranian form?
Yes, I like it.
Have we taken all the additional precautions we identified last time?
You guys sealed up the hidden exit you didn't know about. You rigged up like this impossibly bright light to shine into his cell at all times.
There's like an airlock where I can't actually see out of it.
And
Yeah, curtain airlocks. Yep.
in addition to that, I think we've also got to babysit Tinny now during the full moon, so I can handle that.
So that's a few days out, but it sounds like the plan is just to trust the precautions you've put in place.
Oh, wait, actually, I have stone shape now. I can totally seal up everything really well over a few days. So I'll be doing that.
I am terrified.
Are you going to
Trust me.
move him in there?
No, but like the hidden passage was just collapsed. I can actually just make it solid stone.
Okay, you're not talking about boxing me in with.
No,
No, I'm talking about making sure that there's like nothing like you can like even if somehow you go gaseous, I don't know what werewolves can do. Maybe they're vampires now. Like I can really seal that chamber into the point that everything within 5 feet of the walls
I think
is solid stone.
we totally Edgar Allan Poe him.
Yeah, I was about to
Just
be
rip
like,
him up
are
on the
you trying
wall.
to Amontillado me or some shit?
Yeah.
I think that's actually a really good idea.
But it's also extremely inhumane.
It's horrifying.
Well, I think it would. The main problem is he would suffocate.
Yeah.
Oh
Like, I can
yeah.
stone shape him in, and then I'll open it up 3 days later.
It's a
But,
minor
like, also-
inconvenience, though.
Also, you got to remember that it's not inhumane because you're not human when you're a werewolf.
This is true.
So upon your return, Demetrius troubles you guys. I mean, he lets you come back and get situated and get rested, but within the first day of being back, Demetrius, there was just some small issues in the village that he and, or that Abernathy predominantly has been taking care of. But there are 2 things that he thinks needs your pressing attention.
Uh-huh.
The first is to deal with your goat herder, Tech. There have been complaints about the man who you set to work under him. The goats have a nice pen that has been constructed and built. There's still not a lot of grazing land for them, but presumably a lot of these goats are going to be slaughtered in the winter anyway for their meat and for their wool and whatnot. But yeah, the guy who you've sentenced to be Tech's apprentice is extremely angry at the situation. Who's going to deal with this?
We know why he's angry.
Yeah, because you put
being a
him
goat herder.
in a subordinate position under a slave boy he considers beneath him.
That was Victor's idea, right?
That was all Victor.
It was
Victor
Victor's
willing to go with
idea,
it.
but recall that this was very in line with what would be considering an Etherine punishment for his crime of assault against this boy originally.
And it's not permanent. It's just like for a season, isn't it?
It was for the season, yes.
So, I mean,
Victor will deal with it.
don't cut his head off.
No promises.
Don't threaten to cut his head off.
So only Victor is going to deal with this?
I don't think that's a good idea, but I got other things to do, so
Okay.
I'm not babysitting it.
There's two more things that I want to address before we get into how Edmont's confinement goes horribly wrong for the second time. The second thing, Demetrius is a little exasperated because a man has appeared in the village, a traveler has come to the village seeking, sort of angrily, demanding that he be given an audience with the Duchess of Veritas. And when they've been told, like, she's away on a diplomatic mission,
A diplomatic mission with like 10 finger quotes.
like, he's insistent that he doesn't believe it. He thinks that she's holed up in the house. It's of utmost importance. So he's been put up. You guys don't have, like, an inn or a tavern has been built. These are all living houses and workshops.
Yeah.
And, okay.
We,
Yeah.
we have the long haul, which I guess was set up for guests.
Yeah, there might be.
Yes.
Langhall's probably the best place to do it because hopefully some people actually have houses now that were living there originally.
Well,
We
yeah,
also have
there's...
stables in the back.
There are some houses that have been constructed. He's not sleeping in the long hall. He has been able to show quite a lot of silver. He's been passing out a lot of coin. So some of the workmen that have built one of the houses, one of the workmen has claimed for himself, thinking that after winter he'll take a wife and start a family there. This guy showed up with some silver, and he's like, yeah, whatever, you can sleep in my bed for a few weeks until the Duchess gets back. I don't care. Yeah, this man's name is Yagan. And he's insistent, angrily demanding is the words that Demetrius is using to speak with the Duchess straight away. That she's going to want to hear what he has to say. So who's going to deal with this guy, Yagan?
Did
Sounds like
he
easy.
say why he wants to talk to me?
He refuses to talk to anybody. He talks down to people. He thinks all these people are beneath him. And he buys away a lot of problems with coin. He's showering a lot of silver around.
Well, I think. But what's the other problem? You said there was two things.
We'll get to the third thing after we decide who's going to take care of this Yagan situation. If
I'll
anyone.
talk to him.
So now this is just me. This is just my sadistic head talking. But I should think that maybe you, in that case, you should make it very well known that you're here, and that make sure that Yagan sees that you are here and that you are making him wait for your time. Because you are the Duchess.
So
Like a
you're
true
saying, tell Yagan that, yes, the Duchess is home, and she sent me to talk to you because you're not important enough to talk to her directly?
Not that. More that, oh no, they're like,
You will
that
talk
she's
to me
here.
when I'm ready to talk to you, not on
Well,
your
it's-
time.
It's more like the Duchess has finally come back. She'll deal with you after she cleans up and deals with the personal affairs. Please keep waiting.
So you're gonna.
I don't know. That's not really Evie's style. Genius
That's
would
true.
say.
But also, Evie, don't stab him.
No.
I mean,
I'll talk to him, but I'm not gonna go like out to meet him right away. Like I will schedule a time and say I will meet with you and hear your whatever you have to say at this time, and I'm not gonna
I
make it
do.
at his convenience.
I do.
If
Yeah.
Edmont
I
were
do.
the Duke, if Edmont were the Duke, that's how he would have played it.
Okay.
What?
So-
Yeah. I agree with you. Don't go to him. Have him come to you.
Well, if you don't, after giving this information, I mean, if you don't arrange a meeting with him within the day you come back, he presents himself at the gates of the manor house first thing every morning on the dot, like angrily again demanding, why is he not being allowed in to speak with the Duchess? Don't you know who I am? I have extremely important information. She's going to want to hear this. Servants on orders from Evie now continue to turn him away. The Duchess will see you when she's ready. Is that how
Yes.
you want it to
So-
go?
So it's like Fight Club, except he just doesn't know not to talk.
So the third thing to address here is, Jeannie, tell me about this clock tower that I see has been constructed.
Oh.
I
I
wanted a tower, and that's the one that matched the village.
I guess yeah, there was a tower there, and I guess just Jeannie put a clock in the top, built a clock in her off towers. I don't know. You're kind of putting me on the spot. I didn't know there was a clock tower there.
Well, I'm assuming that Jeannie had designed, at least like drew up the blueprints or whatever for the inner workings
Right.
of this intricate device.
Yeah, we could say that.
Jeannie.
And
You had left word then, before you headed out to the Squelcher Lord's domain. You had left word with some of the, like, you had constructed some of the finer pieces yourself, some of the more intricate things you had built in your own workshop, and you had left instructions on how it was to be assembled properly. And
I think I could have also left my my manservant in charge, at least to lead the project, because he's worked with me before and he's got, you know, blacksmith tools and that kind of stuff.
okay. After a couple days being back in the village, though, you notice that the clock does not keep time properly. You wake up in the morning, it's running too fast. You spend some time, or you direct your retainer or whoever to go out, make adjustments to the mechanisms. By that evening, it's running too slow. And this pattern repeats over the course of a couple days. It really doesn't... It seems like maybe the more you tinker with it, the less accurate it becomes. Victor.
Yes.
Outside of the village, so off here, probably to the south of the map or somewhere, you have this goat pen built up. Did we ever give this man a name?
No. He was just one of the bullies.
We can call him Billy. He's Billy the goat herder.
No, that's too cruel even for this guy. His name is Tiber. Tiber, when you meet him, Tech is there as well. Tech is leaning on the fence with his shepherd's crook cradled into his elbow. Tiber sees you approach, stands up, moves towards you with some defiance in his step. He explains that he's not going to work for this boy any longer. It's ridiculous, this manner of things.
Why?
And he explains that this kid is just an absolute slave driver, and when he doesn't work up to the boy's expectations, the kid makes him sleep in the pen with the goats.
Victor will try not to laugh.
And as he's explained, you can tell Tech has not picked up quite a lot of Darkanese yet. And he's just standing regarding the conversation. But Tiber is very angry about this. So you try not to laugh?
Yeah, he tries not to laugh.
Okay.
Tiber, have the goats been prospering since you and Tech started taking care of them?
No, there's not enough food for them. There's no grazing land. There's nothing for them to eat. It's not the right climate. These goats come from beyond the mists, damn you.
So how much of that knowledge about goats did you know before you started working with Tech?
He stammers out. We should bleed them all out. Salt the meat for winter. There's no need for any of this. I'm surely better put to use constructing houses, splitting lumber, building things. It's what I came here to do. Not to work for this. He looks back and motions at Tech. Tech taps his thumb into his chest. Boss man, he says.
Victor will grin and nod at Tech. Tiber, listen. You understand why you were given this particular task, this work arrangement, correct?
He says, I understand that I will suffer this indignity no longer. Not for you, not for any duchess.
And where would you go?
He doesn't have an answer for that.
Victor will motion to the village and the goats. Everything you've worked for is here. You want to contribute to everyone's prosperity, yes?
He tells you that he doesn't see how him sleeping in goat shit contributes to the prosperity of the village.
It's a punishment.
Victor will gently place a hand on his shoulder and nod and say, yes, I do agree that does not contribute.
Tech points to himself again. Boss man.
So your complaint then is not necessarily worth the work of hurting the goats, it's how Tet is treating you.
He says that he and his lot should have killed all these goats when they were first discovered. That the meat and the wool can be put to use better in the village than keeping them in this ridiculous pen. There's nowhere to graze them. They have no need of a goat herder.
You are thinking short-sighted, my friend. This village is designed to last decades. To do that, we are going to need livestock. These goats are a starting point, and yes, there are definitely too many. Many of them will be culled for the winter, but we still need to ensure that we have enough to reproduce. Otherwise, next winter, what will we eat?
To which Tech responds, boss man.
Victor will establish a telepathic link with Tet. Boss man, have you been hard on this boy?
Tech responds that he hasn't given this man anything he hasn't earned. You made him the boss, and he is doing the job he was given.
And it appears you're doing a very good job from what I can see. However, do you find this job is easier with this man helping you?
He looks at the man, and he looks back at you. And at this point, Tiber, what are you doing? Why are you staring at each other like that?
We're having a conversation. I'm going to see if I can make your life a little bit easier. You've been doing this for how long now? Almost a month?
It's been about that long, almost. So, your intention is to leave the situation basically the way you found it. You're not inclined...
No, so the ultimate goal is basically what Victor is going to inevitably tell this guy is that if he can find someone in the village who is willing to take his place in order to be a goat herder, then he will be allowed to go back to construction. And if he causes any more problems, he will then be exiled.
He thinks about it for a moment. He says, yeah, I might know a couple of lads.
And you will also teach Tet Darkanese so that you can communicate with him.
Why is that my responsibility?
Because you nearly killed him.
It's not my fault.
Because you couldn't communicate.
It's not my fault. The boy's a simpleton.
He's not a simpleton. He just doesn't speak Darkanese. And if you teach him Darkanese, you will find that out.
This is what the Duchess requires of me?
Yes, you will no longer be required to herd goats. You will instead teach our friend here Darkanese, and you will find him a willing replacement so that we can have goat herders going forward, because they are a needed job.
Very well. You can tell Our Lady the Duchess that it will be done. And he bows very, very low.
Don't cause any more problems and you'll be fine. Victor pats him on the shoulder and turns back to Tet.
So how do you leave things with Tech?
He tells Tet what's going on. He says this man is going to try and find a more willing replacement so that you can be a little more productive. And he will teach you Darkanese so that you can communicate with the rest of us. As such, you can no longer abuse him. And then he will ask if Tet feels like his beating has been... what's the word? Does he feel like he's gotten some measure of justice or revenge?
No, because you guys did not give him leave to beat this man back. And as far as you can tell, he hasn't.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's abused this man at all.
Sleeping at the goats is a little bad.
Nah, he's
Sleeping
being
at goat
punished.
He's been doing it for a month, though. I mean,
In this climate?
not pleasant.
This economy.
Invictor will tell Tet Tet, after you have learned to speak Darkanese, you can challenge this man to a fair fight, not to the death. Perhaps a wrestling match of some sort, and you can work out your...
When you're explaining this, I mean, Tech Tech is half this guy's size.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Not
is it
very
Tech Tech
appealing.
like 10?
No, he's a teenager, but he's scrawny. There's not a lot of muscle on him, whereas the other guy is
Is a carpenter?
yeah, he's a
Yeah.
woodworker and he splits logs for a living.
I don't know.
He's just giving Tet Tet the option. Doesn't have to take it.
As far as learning Darkanese, he knows the word boss man.
That's all he needs to know. He just has to know who the boss man is.
So that is how Victor attempts to solve the situation.
Okay.
He's still calling Evie the bitch queen?
No, I thought he gave that up.
Not to Victor's face, at least.
Fair enough.
No, he has to call Evie boss man.
So are we leaving the Jagan situation until after Edmont's confinement? Are we leaving it for a couple more days?
I'll talk to him, but it's the time I schedule. If he shows up saying, you have to talk to me now, you'll say you will wait until the Duchess is ready to speak with you.
So,
It's
are you going to meet with him before or after Edmont's confinement?
I think I'll do it before.
Okay. So how do you do it? I mean, do you summon him to your manor? Do you go see him at the house he's staying in the village?
Yeah, I'll summon him to the manor.
Is anybody going to be there for this meeting or just Evie?
Jeannie will be there.
Edmont will be there, but he'll look very disheveled.
Victor will be there if he's not occupied with the goat guy.
What about Ekon?
Why not?
There.
When the man arrives, he has large scroll cases under both arms. This looks like a man that probably doesn't sleep more than 2 hours a night. Like, this guy's got coffee pumping through his bloodstream. He shows
Alex.
up. And you could tell that he's very, very upset. He's very angry at being made to wait for so long.
Ooh.
At last I have the pleasure of standing in the presence of the Duchess Veritas and her retinue. Well met, my name is Jagan. You're going to want to hear what I have to say.
What is your business here?
Since I see that you've built a large manor house on this land and fixed it up for yourselves and are making a large settlement here. An expansion is in your future, yes? Larger structures of multiple floors. Quite a lot of stairs, but... And he takes one of the scroll cases and lays it on the floor, puts weights on two of the ends, rolls it all the way out, and it's a large, very intricate blueprint, like 6 feet to a side.
No.
And he rolls it out. And he
No.
explains that he's an inventor.
No.
And that he has a
Excellent.
wondrous contraption that's going to
I love
change
it.
your life.
I love it. I'm very happy about this right now, Brickard. I want you to know, don't listen to Treble.
He can build a room inside your manor house that can travel from the ground floor to the top floor or to any basement levels without the necessity for stairs. And he calls it the Up-a-Majigger.
That sounds like magic.
Do we have anything like this in Verdisco?
Yes.
Okay, what did we call it?
So,
No,
a
later.
lift?
Probably a lift. You had like dumbwaiters.
Yeah.
Mechanical elevators
You called it a
probably.
lorry.
Mechanical elevators were probably not very common if they existed at all, but
Oh, it's
So
a
it's a lift.
it's a lift.
It's a lift.
no, and he points to the part on the blueprint where he very clearly has a trademark spelled out, a patent pending for the Up-a-Majigger.
The Up-a-Majigger.
And where did you learn to build this Majigger? Did Aslan teach it to you?
He tells you, no. In fact, I pitched this very device to King Aslan himself in his own hall, and he told me that he had no use for my brilliance. If you can
And you-
believe it.
I can believe
I
it.
don't believe it.
What powers it?
And he talks about the mechanism, and he shows how, like, if you have a boiler room in the basement of your own, if you don't, he can construct that as well, a simple mechanism which he can heat the whole structure of the house using a system of, and it slowly gets beyond probably all of you except for Jeannie. Jeannie, what he's proposing is basically putting a coal-burning boiler in your basement.
Huh?
And using the power of steam to raise and lower this lift, which can carry hundreds of pounds of riders or freight.
Jeannie, we found your husband.
Jeannie's already engaged.
The actual mechanism is not that dissimilar to the device that powered the water wheels on the steamship you guys commandeered.
And I'll start like pointing at his blueprints and asking him questions, and like I've seen somewhere, and I'll like, I don't know, just talk shop, ask questions.
What's your passive insight?
My passive insight is like 14.
14?
Double check. 14, yeah.
What's everybody else's passive insight at disadvantage? So passive insight -5.
7.
13.
Oh,
5.
sorry.
12.
Can I use my reaction to give... Oh, no, I guess it's a skill check. I was going to say, can I use my flash of genius on this?
You're not making
check?
a skill check. I'm testing your passive insight.
Right, I know. I hadn't had a chance to use it.
So yeah, you explained that like you've seen a device like this before.
Huh?
To what end? Like, what's your goal here?
I mean, I'm excited. I'm just like, you know, like...
So you're outwardly excited, but you're saying that
Right.
he bristles a bit. He says, well, you haven't seen the likes of this before. So I invented it. He tells the whole story about how he had his own flash of insight in his dream. And how it all came to him all at once, already built, every spring and sprocket in place. He is very adamant that this is his own personal idea, and he will not hear about anybody having invented the elevator before him.
I'll talk about like, yeah, like I've seen a similar device on a ship.
No, you're
I've taken
mistaken.
it-
You've seen nothing like this. Not my up-a-majigger.
Evie, why don't we just offer this guy a place here and see if we can improve things around the village?
I mean, do we need an elevator? I don't know that we need an elevator.
But it sounds like you can do more than an elevator.
Is there a
Where do we
Darkanese
get the
word
hole?
for elevator?
No, because
I'll put the imagigger.
Darkon is like, at best, a feudal medieval society.
I guess the word for it now is up a jigger.
Yeah.
No, I refuse to call it that.
Evie, he could be Genie's apprentice. He could be really useful.
So, and I'll start going through the parts and be like, I'll walk him through, like, because Genie has taken apart the actual engine of that steamboat and put
Right.
it back together. So I'll start walking through the parts and be like, yeah, this does this. Clearly, this does this.
And the rest of you are watching, and very quickly this whole conversation moves way beyond anybody else's technical expertise. To
And
the
I'm-
point where it almost seems like Genie and Jagen are trying very, very hard to, like, one-up each other. Like, which of them is the actual genius in this regard?
Edmont's
Not
sitting
necessarily
here listening.
try- Go ahead.
Edmont's sitting there hearing them talk, and his leg is just bouncing.
I'm not trying to like one up this man. I'm just like, this is from Genie. This is entirely a. It's been a while. It's literally been several months since she's been able to talk to anybody that has similar interests to her, because there's not an artificer guild here or an artificer college. These people don't know anything about mechanics, and Genie's in Genie's mind, she's found a friend. And I think, but me as the player, I feel like Genie's probably irritating the piss out of this man.
Of course.
But Genie is having a good time.
So at the end of his sales pitch, what is the decision? Is House Veritas in need of an up-a-majigger in their...
So specifically, he's saying he wants to install an elevator in our manor.
Yeah, he's Jagen the elevator guy.
That
And
would
how
be
much
given-
does that cost?
Well, all he asks in return is a place of prominence in the village. Like, a nice house for himself,
So
dry, warm place for the winter.
So if we let you install this elevator, all you want is to live with us and make the village better?
I mean, it's a genie's gonna pipe up. It's a good deal because even if he installs the boiler, like that's something I was going to get to, but that's like so far down my list. Having an extra.
Hang on. Letting him build the boiler room in the basement means we have to let him into the basement.
We don't have anything down there anymore. We already got rid of all the torture equipment.
We have a room to hold a werewolf prisoner.
You're explaining this in
I
front
hope
of
you're not
Megan?
saying that out loud.
No, I don't say
We
that
also
out
have
loud.
there's also the in Freneskin, I'll say, and there's also the mirror room.
Well, that's locked. Like he can't get in there. Like that's got that's actually like magically locked and booby trapped.
I can. That said, I can stone shape us an expanded basement in a week or so.
But also, in addition to that, there's a separate cellar where Edmont's giggle dungeon is. It's
So-
not the actual like dungeon area.
There's enough stuff in our house that I don't want people poking around in, that I don't really feel comfortable letting a stranger go in and like start knocking out walls.
McDohl, can I ask you a question?
I might.
You've played a lot of Suikoden games.
Yeah, I've been known to Suiko the dens every once in a while.
There's a point in the Suikoden games when you come back to your headquarters and the eccentric inventor is there, and he says, "I'm going to build you an elevator." And then the little text box pops up and says, "You pick yes or no." Have you ever picked no?
Never.
Because
No,
it sounds like
never
Evie
picked it.
wants to pick no.
And I think that Evie is a madwoman in that case.
I mean, Ekon is already discussing plans with Genie to stone shape out a sub basement specifically for this.
Now, I'm gonna ask Jeannie, like, in your opinion, you're the one with the technical expertise. Does this guy know what he's talking about, or is he a psychopath?
I mean, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. I can
I mean, I was just I was watching the two of you talk, and I don't think that I don't understand a lick of it, but it sounds like that the two of you, I think that Jeannie could have easily sniffed out a charlatan.
Yeah, because I feel like Jeannie would have gotten extremely irritated if she felt like this guy was just blowing hot air.
I mean, I'm not opposed to letting this guy hang out here. We need to be very careful about letting him poke around in our house.
We don't really. So we have two things that we don't want him to go. We just say, don't go in this room and don't touch. And then we have a bookshelf and a magically locked door in front of the other thing.
We can stone shape a room for the boiler. That's not an issue.
Right.
He needs to be. Someone needs to be monitoring him.
I think Jeannie would kill at the chance to help install this equipment in that case.
So what Evie wants to hear, like, do you have any other inventions besides your up-a-majigger? I'm curious what else he can bring to the village. He clearly seems to have a lot of skills. I'm not like questioning that, but I just want to know, like, we let you come here.
He is
What would he have
insistent
to offer?
that the technical brilliance and the amount of convenience that his tremendous up-a-majigger is going to add into your life, you're not going to need any other inventions. This is going to... It's like, do you have any idea how many loading screens this is going to save you from?
But this is only one building. What about all the other buildings?
He can install up-a-majiggers in any number. Of course, you guys don't have any other multiple floor buildings. Although, and he unrolls a smaller piece of, a smaller scroll on, and this one you can see has been hastily drawn, probably in the few days that he's been waiting back, and it's like a cross section of the bell tower in Ekon's church, where he can using about half of the space inside of the bell tower, he can install an up-a-majigger there. So the bellman won't have to go up this long spiral staircase all the way to the top every morning.
What about the other houses? Could you install just boiler rooms so the other places have hot water?
He doesn't understand why you have a need for an up-a-majigger in any of these single-story cottages that you guys have built.
That's the point, good sir.
Well, Victor, I've dealt with people like him before at the college.
No, all yours.
It's fine. And I'll say it for Miskin, he's touched in the head. He's smart, but he's a little touched.
Can you use him?
Yeah, like I think we should let him install. Like Genie will switch to Dark Keys. I think we should let him install the lift into the uh into the house. It will make moving things up and down. If for nobody else, it'll make things easier for me as I like move things from my storage and all that out to the detached. Because that's what this is apparently, Brooker. This is like Evie wasn't happy with like Genie having a lab in the house, so she had them build a detached house, a detached building for it.
I mean, it sounds like you could make use of this guy. So, as I want to make clear, he's going to put the up-a-majigger where we tell him to. He's not going to have a flash of inspiration and say it would be much better over here. If
Yes.
yeah, okay.
The bell tower has a rope. You don't have to go up the stairs to ring the bell.
He just wants to put an elevator.
He doesn't understand why you would use something so crude and Neanderthalic as a rope when you could have a state-of-the-art up-a-majigger installed in your bell tower, but he's not going to gainsay a man of God.
So what's happened is this man has invented a way to bring like heat and running water to houses, and all he wants to do is build elevators.
No, this man has invented an up-a-majigger.
I tell you what, we will make the space for the boiler. Do you have a sort? And then like, do you have a good source of coal?
Well, I didn't bring any with me, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I don't know that we have a source of it. We don't have a lot of. I don't know that there's any coal available in the region.
You guys
All
haven't
we've got-
gotten a mining operation up and running yet. Although you can
Right.
make charcoal out of wood scraps, can't you?
I don't know that that actually would work for this kind of fuel.
Whatever, it works in Minecraft, so.
Yeah, that's good enough for
That's good
D&D,
enough
I
for
guess.
me.
So I mean, like, yeah, we could just like start making charcoal. I mean, because we've been cutting down a lot of trees.
Yeah, that's another issue because I do want us to start bringing in firewood for winter, so maybe some of that can be made.
Oh,
into
that's
charcoal.
already been stockpiling. Like these guys have lived through Darkon winters before. They know the score. They know what to do.
Okay. Well, Evie's gonna say, "Okay, Genie, I'm gonna put you in charge of this guy."
I will look in on him occasionally. How many hands do you need? Are you gonna? And I'll start asking him technical questions. Are you doing all the work yourself? Do you have workmen? Because if you're going to be running pipes throughout our entire manor, and building a boiler, and installing a boiler, and building your lift, is this going to be? And by the way, Genie is not using the term thingamajigger.
He corrects you every time.
Right, but like.
I mean, he explains that he doesn't imagine any of the smooth brains you have out there could be of any assistance to him at all.
Okay, what kind of timeline are you looking at here? Like, how fast are you expecting to get this done? Do you have the materials with you? What kind of materials do you need? Have you thought this out at all, other than past the point of, hey, I've got this wonderful picture?
He doesn't even know what the inside of our manor looks like.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even know what the inside of our manor looks like.
He's inside your manor right now.
Right, okay.
We're in the foyer, probably.
The explanation he gives basically amounts to you guys are going to go out on the next adventure, and when you come home, the up-a-majigger will be complete.
Got you.
That's like a plan.
See, I was just like, you know what? It's a crossfade, and boom, there's an elevator in your castle. Like we don't need to ask them any questions about
It's very clear that none of these people have played Suikoden before.
Played Suikoden. I've played all 5 Suikodens. But
Then I don't understand why his transaction is taking so long.
Okay. I'm gonna say, take it easy on the other townspeople. That, like, you can't treat them like they're beneath you. Okay, but
Got it. Dimwits and nincompoops have their place. I understand.
okay, so all I gotta say, Brickroad, is you can't expect one of your characters to be playing a literal engineer and not to be asking questions about how this other literal engineer is going to do the thing in our living space.
I think we needed a fun scene after what happened earlier.
Yeah. That's exactly why this is here, and I'm here for it.
If Genie signs off on this, then it's okay with Evie. She just wants to make very sure that he doesn't start poking around where he shouldn't be.
So, Genie, you're pretty well convinced that his work inside the manor house will not intrude into secret places you don't want him to know about. That said, we're not bringing this guy in on the secret of Edmont's giggle dungeon or the secret room with the magic mirrors. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Genie, I can reshape 5 feet of stone at Air's will every morning, so just plan me out 5 foot blocks and give me a diagram.
All right.